Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When I am discussing the developments in or around Ukraine, I try to do it in two different ways. Or make videos in two different ways. One that is mostly focused on the military developments, changes. Like Russians attacked with drones, the Ukrainians attacked the oil refineries, like the Pokrovsk situation, these guys liberated or took control of the town. So it was more like strategic along the contact line. And the other ones are the political developments, the decisions. Trump doesn't want to talk to Zelensky. Zelensky sucks, this guy is staying. And things like this, where you have more like how should I put it, decision outside of the front, behind the scenes, the politicians, the decision makers. That's this video. This is a video based on the about 7 or 8 topics related to Ukraine, Trump, Zelensky, Putin, Zaluzhnyi attacking Belgorod, and so on. So I have, as I said, 7 topics, and I will read them for you, so we go one by one after that if you're still here. The first one, from New Voice of Ukraine, and this is from February 2nd, which is today. Trump's quiet deal with Putin? Question mark. So that's according to Ukrainians, this comes from New Voice of Ukraine. So these guys think that the Russians and the Americans are behind the scenes organizing something without asking them. I think it's accurate. But hey, next one. Zelensky pushes for Trump meeting before any negotiations with Russia. So he thinks that he's a kingpin in this. He's just a clown. He's just a piece of thing that is used with a face. These guys can just do like this with Zelensky and put another piece of shit with a different face. With a different nose, maybe. So, next one. Zelensky warns US-Russia talks on Ukraine without Kyiv risks global danger. Is he threatening the United States of America with, a proxy war, with the drones that they have, with the javelins that they were given by the Americans, brought into, let's say, United States of America and in Europe, causing havoc? Is that what he talks about? What do you mean global? No. Ukraine and Russia war should have been like Poland-Germany war in a Second World War. That's it. Between the two countries. It got elevated to what this guy tries to say it is a global danger because in the Second World War the Brits and the French who decided to fight the Nazis to defend Poland, which eventually gave to Stalin after the war. That's a great deal. So if you tell me that's the good logic, I think it's baboonish. So again, next one. Zelensky says Ukraine's exclusion from talks to end war would be very dangerous. First, my heart is crying for the Ukrainian nation, as it could cry, not crocodile tears. It's crying for the Ukrainian nation, which has been continuously fucked for so many years, decades, we want centuries. And now they have in charge this clown who's the tool of global interest, who are working through Great Britain and United States of America and then European Union to fight the Russians and then the Chinese and then everybody else who opposes their domination. Global domination is what it is. So I'm sorry, they are used. That's we're going to discuss this later. Next one. Kyiv should hold elections after ceasefire. Trump's special Ukraine envoy says. So that's a country called United States of America has some guys telling other country, independent we say, a sovereign country, you should hold elections after the ceasefire occurs. Who the hell are you again? How about the Ukrainians should tell the Americans, for instance, why don't you rerun your elections? I don't think they were quite okay. There were some irregularities. Who says this? Only someone who thinks, or maybe is, appointed as your boss. I don't remember the Ukrainians ascribing this position to the Americans. But hey, that's not the way the world works. Next one, Zelensky. And this is such a bizarre garbage. Zelensky says, and I'm quoting Zelensky, "We have defended our independence, Ukraine's independence, and are closer to peace than ever. But they're losing." How did you defend? Were you supposed to defend? Or you tried to destroy someone, you lost, and now you say you're close to peace? As a loser? That's my interpretation of that. Ukraine forum. Norwegian diplomats caught under attack in Odesa, Zelensky says. So what happened? The Russians conducted an attack on Odesa port and around, and there were some Norwegian diplomats that were caught under attack. It's like you go to a bad neighborhood and they have a bar, and you go in that bar at 11 o'clock p.m. on a Friday when people get their paychecks. You know what I mean? What do you think you're going to find at 11 o'clock over there? Drunks and people playing billiard or pool, and you go, let's say, not alone, you go accompanied with a beautiful woman, and you go over there and you enter and you sit down at the table. Will you be surprised if you will have a few drunks coming and trying to get your woman more aggressively or not, and then you get maybe in a fist fight? I wouldn't be surprised. So the Norwegian diplomats are caught under fire in a war zone. And it's the Russians' fault. Yeah, it is. It is. But why were you over there? And were they diplomats? That's another question. According to the big liar, Zelensky. Next one. This is how they are trying to conflate conflicts. That is, Germany fights Poland, all of a sudden, oh my God, this is the world war. Why? Because that's how the World War started, not because Germany invaded, gave an ultimatum to Poland, and Poland said, fuck off. No, that was not it. It's because the Brits and the French intervened and declared war on Germany. Then from 2 countries, they became 4. But it still was not a world war. It was not a world war. Bangladesh was not involved. You can say, well, Bangladesh, if you look at the British Empire at that time, it had its colonies still intact. And, I don't know if Bangladesh was part of it. But let's say Honduras. Honduras was not involved if it's a global world war. So again, here we have the West. Look how these guys are making this headline from Business Insider. The West is seeing Kim Jong Un's army in action. They say in, Kursk, in Kursk. And the North Korean soldiers are brutal zealots, undeterred in the face of death. All right, like banzai! The Japanese jujuju crazies in the Second World War. Okay, that's the same thing. But my point is with the first word, excluding the West is saying, but the East doesn't. The South doesn't. What do you mean the West is saying? With the problem with North Korea is should be the South Koreans. That's all. But you got the Americans, and then by bringing the jackals, some European countries called the West, you have about 5 countries with problems with North Korea. That's it. Is Romania part of the West? Is Hungary part of the West? Austria? I don't remember these countries. Or Portugal? Are they part of the West? If they are, they see Kim Jong Un army. They lump us all as with the Norwegian thing, or hey, it's going to be dangerous for the world, global danger, if we are not invited, we being Zelenskyy. Now, next and the last article has to do with Zaluzhnyi. Zaluzhnyi was exiled by forces outside of Ukraine because he was threatening the Zelenskyy popularity. And Zaluzhnyi planned an offensive in Belgorod in 2022, right when the start of the war, but it never got the green light. Why do we find it around now in 2025? Why didn't we hear about this then? Because I think these guys are ready to book Zelenskyy in the nose. So it never got the green light. What do you mean? I thought that Zaluzhnyi was the guy really in charge of the Ukrainian military. Was he? Who didn't give him the green light? the Americans? No, it can't possibly be, because it was the Ukrainians, we're told, were fighting and destroying the Russians. So if Ukraine can stop Russia, as we're told, then imagine NATO. No, it was NATO versus Russia through Ukraine. So who did not allow Zaluzhnyi to go into Belgorod? Was it Zelensky's time? Or it was the Americans who told you Zelensky's time backed up off? All right, let's start with the first article. Are you still here? All right, let's go. New voice of Ukraine. Trump quiet deal with Putin? Question mark. Ceasefire chances soar as talks intensify. Well, I never liked this picture when I saw the video between them. The body language is horrible. Horrible for both of them. And in this case, I don't have expectations for Trump. Even though he's a negotiator, he was in business. And so for this former KGB who should be trained and he knows better. You see that hand over there? You see that freaking hand over there? I've seen him doing this many times. Now, holding the chair, that shows insecurity. You don't like it? That's the reality. That's interpretation. You have to hold on something. You're so stressed, you need that. And that's not right. That's not, even his face is bad here. That's not right. I would expected him to be his legs very wide apart, his arms very open, and his head up. That's how I would expect it. I didn't like this at all. It's not the first time when I saw him doing this. Maybe this is just a, how do you call it, something personal that he does. But again, and this guy, again, this is like, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm closed right here. Pop. No, bring me something. Nevertheless, here, it should have been different, I think. But hey, here's the president of the Russian Federation. I'm here. So you understand. Okay, special representatives of U.S. President Donald Trump has said the United States would like to see elections in Ukraine, possibly by the end of the year. Who are you? Following a potential ceasefire agreement. So, there he is. Political analyst Alexei Koshel. We're not going to read that one. This was Putin demands. He launched this narrative about a year ago. What was it? Oh, I gotta go back. Jesus Christ. For the past year, Russian dictator, he's elected. Your dictator is not elected. He lost his illegitimacy. Has been manipulating the illegitimacy of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, distorting Ukraine's constitution to push his narrative. Well, I guarantee you, my friend, I know my friend, I guarantee you, and I tell you straight, if Putin demands this, I will negotiate with everybody but with someone else but except Zelensky. I guarantee you his wish will come true, will be fulfilled by someone. I guarantee you that. Why? He has the upper hand and they know it. So this thing with he demanded that. Do you think it's a quiet deal with Putin? No, they just, it was never about, the Ukrainians had no say. The Ukrainians were under occupation since 2014. After the coup, they were under occupation. So whatever they say really doesn't really matter. Sorry to break the news here, if that's necessary. So that's why, as I said many times, when I show up to a store with something that I need to be solved, I need something to be solved, and I go over there and I find a person, first thing I say, okay, are you a decision maker in this kind of issue that I have? If the person says no, I don't want to talk to you because I'm going to explain to you and I'm going to waste my time. You're paid. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm going to waste my time explaining to you when the decision maker is somewhere over there. No, please bring me the decision maker who can really solve my problem. The same here. Why should the Russians talk to the Ukrainians? Unless we play a game when actually no, you have to speak with the Americans. They're the guys, not the Brits, the Americans. So who's crying here? The Ukrainians? I mean, these guys are playing a game here. Oh my God, they're gonna talk without us. Of course they will. You are not in. If you are brought in the room, you are brought to listen, or just to pretend you're over there that you are part of the peace process. New voice of Ukraine. Zelensky pushes for Trump meeting before any negotiations with Russia. You are in no position to say anything, to push for anything. I don't think Trump will see you, and if he's gonna see you, he's gonna see you just for the media, or to check box something, say, well, I talked to the baboon first. But I told the baboon. I didn't talk with the baboon. I told him. Anyway, next one. Zelensky warns, now this is something that, again, he tries to conflate. He tried to get the whole world, which is in this case NATO, to fight Russia. They tried using, this kind of people right here, this kind of people tried. Zelensky, US-Russia talks on Ukraine without Russia risks global danger. What are you talking about? Like something like this never happened before? Did we have wars about this? I mean, remember the Munich conference? Do I have to mention that? Were the Poles invited? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you going to retaliate with your shadow army, armed by these guys in Europe and in North America? This is what I predict is going to happen. When this Zelensky goes rogue, he either be going to be taken out by his protection services, how do you call them, the secret services, the guys around him, the mercenaries around him. They will take him out. He's over there. He's a, how do you call it? He's a prisoner. Zelensky. If Zelensky says the wrong thing, he's going to disappear. He's going to be, somehow you'll see. So if this guy goes rogue right here, what's going to do? The shadow army of Ukraine, of those guys that we are told that not exist, will start terrorist attacks in Western Europe, Western capitals, and the United States of America. I predict that will happen. Just cross this Zelensky line and see what happens. Next one, which is related to that one, to the first one. To the previous one. Zelensky says Ukraine's exclusion from talks to end war would be very dangerous. No, they will ignore you like they ignored many other countries. And they decide over your head everything. All of a sudden you think you're important? Well, don't fall for that, Zelensky, because I don't foresee you retiring in London as the plan is, or in New York. Next one. Kyiv should hold elections after ceasefire, Trump's special Ukraine envoy says. Why not before? Because you have martial law. What I don't like about that one is it's clear who's in charge in Ukraine. But they tell us that no, each country's independence and sovereignty should be respected. The Russians broke that. We didn't in Syria. The United States of America did not violate Syria's sovereignty and independence when they invaded Syria and deployed over there. Now I think 2,000 soldiers sucking dry the oil from northeast Syria and financially supporting and military some bad dudes over there. Nobody said about it, but you tell me to respect the Ukrainians. So justice is not selective. I like Gigi, you're okay. I don't like Mikey, off. Doesn't work that way. So you have a third country here, United States of America, who tells the Ukrainians that they need to do something. They don't, you should do this. Why don't you just come and say, Zelensky, get the fuck out. Gigi, you're next. After all right, next one. This is my problem with that one. Big problem. There's some others too. Yeah, I'm full of problems. Zelensky, we have defended our independence and are closer to peace than ever. This is another baboonish thing with this guy. No, you did not defend. You did not defend your independence. You endangered your independence by following orders and getting in a war with Russia. And now because you're losing, you tell me that actually you won? Give me a medal for participation, but I'm all bruised up and my, shoulder is broken? Is that how it is? And I'm supposed to celebrate? I told you this a long time ago, more than 2 years ago. This is how NATO will portray Ukraine's defeat. Because Ukraine's defeat is NATO defeat, not Ukraine defeat. They're going to portray it as a draw or a victory because we decided to stop the carnage that we started. Why we started? 1991, the promise, no 1-inch expansion of NATO eastward. Promised, gentleman agreement. And the gentlemen in the West showed that they're not gentlemen, they're not civilized all of a sudden. All right, and then 2014 overthrow of a legitimate, democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych with the help of foreign agencies, agenturile străine. Remember, my fellow Romanians? All right, so don't stop with this garbage. No, you did this, and now you say, oh, we're gonna intervene, and hey, boys, hey, Ukraine and Russia, come on, people, come on, man. No. Get a mirror, talk to yourself, punch yourself in your face. And now this guy says Ukrainian. Zelensky says, we defended we gave it a try to our independence. We won, but we're close to peace. No, don't portray it that way. You lost. You tried to pull a Gaddafi on Putin. You lost. You tried to kneel Russian economy with your sanctions. You lost. You tried military to go over there and push towards the Russians. You lost. Where did you win? I tell you where. your international banking system won big bucks. And they hope to reconstruct Ukraine. No, they lost. The military-industrial complex won, right? The banking system won. Why? How do these guys procure the military, the military-industrial complex? How did they get the weapons from? From our taxpayers' money? No, they printed money. They just allocated the defense. And then they gave aid, all right? And then with interest, and then they gave aid, and we are depleted. Can we have some orders, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and whomever, Rheinmetall in Germany? Yeah. And who's going to pay for that? We are bankrupt. We don't have money. We work in a deficit. Our economy is in deficit. We spend more than we earn. That means we've been going that way. U.S. Public debt is more than the freaking, how much the revenues, the GDP. So again, they're going to portray it as a victory, and we are the humanitarians again intervening between these Russia and Ukraine. And after this ends, you're never going to hear about Ukraine for a while until they try to reactivate Georgia, or they will try to reactivate Armenia, or maybe Romania, or maybe not even the Baltic states. With 6.1 million people in Baltic states, you just fart and they go into the Baltic Sea just like that. And next one, Norwegian diplomats. Were diplomats? No, this according to Ukraine Forum. Norwegian diplomats caught under attack in Odesa, Zelenskyy. So, as I explained, what were you doing there? It was not illegal for you to go at the bar in that bad neighborhood at 11 p.m. on a Friday after they receive their checks and are very dry to drink, and you go with pretty blonde. You go in that and say, hey guys, I'm here. What do you think? Hey, Gigi and Michelle, come over. That's the way thing was going to be. Be ready to fight and be punched in the face. If they can get you, what should you do? Maybe not go over there, pick something else. I have the freedom and liberty to go to that bar. Is it smart to do it? The same with those Norwegian diplomats. Do I really know it was the diplomats? Do I really know it was not, mercenaries? Or maybe trainers? And they try to get Norway now in a war or something with Russia. What do you think? Why is he saying that? They want Norway to declare war to Russia? Because, you see, they attacked your diplomats. Diplomats. All right, next one. This is how they try to conflate, put things together that are not there. Like the Second World War with Poland and Germany. Business Insider. The West is seeking Kim Jong Un's armies in action. Is seeing right there in action. And North Korean soldiers are brutal zealots. Undeterred in the face of death. Well, they're crazies, basically. What is going on here? I didn't change it. And here is the title. The West is seeking Kim Jong Un. So, the point here is this. They want to lump all the West, like, is the West against... The West has nothing to do with Kim Jong Un. As much as Honduras has with Kim Jong Un. Why does Romania, is part of the West, or Portugal, has something to do with North Korea? It's because the masters want you to have a problem with them. It's between the North Koreans and the South Koreans, if you really talk about it. Their war, their armistice, not even a signed peace deal or anything like that. They're just a temporary ceasefire. And the Americans are over there all of a sudden, but all of a sudden it's the West. And again, they face the North Koreans, which I don't know them, as the Japanese in the Second World War, which was crazies and fanatics. Yeah, some of them were. I read a lot of books about that. Some of them were. But they don't understand the Bushido code, obviously. In this case, why are they zealots? Do they take methamphetamine? Like the German Wehrmacht? Like the American Wehrmacht or the French Wehrmacht worked on what? On what? Since the beginning of time, military people who were going to war were getting all kind of substances. Why? Because you shit your pants, man. You need alcohol. Do you think that, I'm going to go and fight? Well, I was explaining to a friend a few days ago actually, about what berserk, getting berserk means. And berserk was a Nordic way of, getting all kind of substances in your system, and then, just crazy to go and fight for war. Why? You needed that. Do you think the Americans did not get any during the war? Any war? I mean, you gotta be kidding me, my friends. Only the Germans were methamphetamine Nazis, blah, 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 my friends. So here you have, they're zealots. They're zealots. Remember when they portrayed that in the Enemy at the Gate movie, that Stalin ordered that they were sending people just with 4 cartridges, and if you retreat, they will shoot you from behind, the commissars, Zelensky's commissars. Remember that one? No, I dare you to go and check if that's true or not. And if it's true, I already know the answer. I can't say it here. But you go and check it out. If that was really true, and if it's true, when, where, to what extent that was followed. Great, those crazies. And now they said about the Russians now, the Soviets then, the Russians now. Why? Because Putin is like Stalin. Again, no connection, but they make it. Again, next one and the last one. Who did not allow this to happen? According to New Voice of Ukraine, Zaluzhnyi planned the Belgorod offensive in 2022, but it never got the green light. General Nazarov. Why, General Nazarov, are you allowed to speak out now on February 2025? Former Commander-in-Chief of Ukraine Armed Forces, Valery Zaluzhnyi, proposed taking the war onto Russian territory, specifically targeting Belgorod Oblast. Where's Belgorod Oblast? Let me show you. All right, come on, baby, don't cooperate. Come on, I don't want that. Yeah, it works that way, but not the other way around. All right, Belgorod, right here. He said, let's go this way, let's attack this way. And he was, niet, you can't go. All right, in an interview with BBC. So this general, Major General, have time to be interviewed by BBC? Isn't she supposed to be fighting somewhere? So when Zaluzhnyi was still in command in December 2022, during a meeting at the National Security and Defense Council, where I was present, we prepared such proposals, and I personally participated in them. According to him, at the time, the discussion focused on Belgorod Oblast, and I'm quoting, "These kinds of operations were proposed to create a serious threat to the enemy," he said. Nazarov explained that the plan involved an offensive near the junction of Kursk and Belgorod Oblast, advancing generally in the direction of Belgorod. Right there. Belgorod and Kursk in this way. Yes. Kursk and Belgorod in this area. Advancing towards Belgorod. So probably this way. All right. When asked why the proposal was never implemented, the former advisor suggested it was likely a political decision. And I'm quoting, "I know for a fact that Valery Fedorovich," which is Zaluzhnyi, explicitly presented these operations during a meeting at NSDC. What we are witnessing now was essentially outlined back then, Nazarov. According to him, Zaluzhnyi report prioritized stabilizing the front line in Donbass, blah, blah, blah. Who did it? Who said it? Political, but who that? Who that? The goal to prevent the proposal was put forward, but their execution required a political decision, Zelenskyy, which would have included detailed planning for specific actions. However, no such decision was ever made. Was made at the time. Why? I don't see Zelensky's here. I don't see it here. All right, my friends. This concludes the video for today with general developments, political developments, weasels, pieces of shit, and so on. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.